Students, so this video is basically about the discussion of the responses which are received from all of you guys. So these were the responses. The first question, MCQs, was related to the process in which the molecules flow from higher concentration to lower concentration, and all the responses were same. Like all of you replied that it is about diffusion. Second was the atomic number, and all of you have selected the number of protons, which is absolutely perfect. Then, electronic configuration is the arrangement of electrons in where. So, some people have selected that the electrons are arranged in the nucleus. So, let me clarify here that they are not at all arranged in the nucleus. Then isotopes have different number of dash. Some of you have selected protons and electrons, but mostly people have selected neutrons. And neutron is that subatomic particle which basically make the different types of single element, and we physicists, we chemists, we being a scientist, call them isotopes. Then, which diagram is showing the vibratory motion? So there were 4 pictures. The pictures cannot be here, but the vibratory motion is represented by that to and fro movement, which was only done by pendulum. Displacement is defined as the rate of change of velocity. The unit is dash. So in this MCQs, in this multiple choice question, we had a lot of options, and some of you have selected meter. Some meter per second, some meter per second is squared. Let me remind you that here we have displacement. Displacement is a vector quantity which is exactly same with the distance. The difference is just because of the direction. If a distance has a specified direction, it is a displacement, right? Next, we have the meaning of velocity of an object can be defined as the rate of change of the object's position with reference to the frame of reference. The formula to calculate velocity is what? We know that velocity is speed, and speed is distance upon time. So velocity is displacement upon time. A lot of people have selected different answers, but mostly people have selected 83% people selected this, which is the right one. The example of the rest position is a book on a table. Next, we have a sprinter covered distance of 10 on 10, which what is his speed? What do you mean by 10 on 10? 10 on 10 means meter per second. 10 meter per 10 second. 10 cross 10. If you will divide 10 by 10, you will have 1 meter per second. Next, we have acceleration. The decrease in acceleration is what? Deceleration. So this is what this was it all about. So in the next, we have the variety of life that exists on earth is biodiversity. Next, we have Boyle's law. Boyle's law is a relationship. It's basically a law that depicts a relationship between volume and pressure, which is the inverse relation, right? So most of the people have 83% people have selected it. So next we have density. It is mass per volume. We have discussed it, but maybe by mistake some people have selected volume per mass. It is mass per volume. So next we have the change from liquid to state is boiling. One of a student selected condensation. I don't know in which state was his mind. The father of taxonomy is Linnaeus, not Aristotle. Aristotle was a guy who thought to start thinking about the classification. Linnaeus was the person who named everything, who classified each and everything. J.J. Thomson was a different scientist. He worked something with the atomic structure. So the next we have the constant temperature at which the solid changes to liquid is a melting point. Intramolecular forces are the forces which are between the atoms of a molecule. Gases are highly compressible due to empty spaces. 94% people selected it. Absolute zero is the scale, which is the Kelvin scale. This is the formula. K is equal to 73 plus degrees Celsius. You must have seen it in the lecture. The next question we have is the nomenclature. Nomenclature is a naming system, right? So we know that in the naming system of any animal there are 2 names. The first represent genus and the second represent the species. So evaporation is basically a surface phenomena, and it is a phenomena when only the surface particles turns to gas particles. Next we have here, it is a definition of kinematics, and I only asked that what is it about. So the next we have the distance traveled per unit time is speed. Next we have a quantity that has both magnitude and direction is vector. We have learned it in kinematics. 1 meter contains 100 centimeter. This is a universal truth. There is nothing to learn about it. Next we have which of the following instrument is used to measure the diameter of the thin metallic wire. We have done a lot of time with the screw gauge. So the third option was the screw gauge. So next we have the total number of basic quantities. They are 7. IUCN is an union which is an international union which work for the conservation of nature. So you selected right, and all of 100% people gave the right answer. So in the last we have that biodiversity loss refers to the reduction of a species. So this was all about the answers.